Still talking Nigeria, and this time round, the power sector, which has witnessed worse times, and it appears no respite is in sight yet. On Sunday, there was nationwide blackout in the country following collapse of the national power grid. That was the fifth collapse of the electricity grid in 2022 alone, after collapsing twice in March and twice in April, due to gas constraints, water management challenges, and gas pipeline vandalism. So, where will the blackout end? I'll start with you, Anka.
Nobody knows. And it is shocking and disappointing that in a country where we have physicists, we have chemists, we have, talk of any profession in the world that we do with electricity. We have engineers who know a lot about solar power. We have closed our eyes entirely to that. So the national grid does not even have any supply from the solar, the abundance of solar power that we have. Then, every time we talk of power, collapse of the power grid and all that, what exactly is the problem? Is it generation? Is it distribution, or what? Now, it gives one a complete heartbreak that with all the scientists we have in Nigeria, both at home and abroad, what does it take to tap into the knowledge of these people that, look, other countries of the world, even in Africa here, forget about the West and the rest, in Africa here, there are countries that the issue of power failure has become a thing of the past. Why is it that we cannot learn from them? Why is it that we cannot make use of our own technicians, our own technologists? We only produce graduates, a graduate of physics or electric engineering or whatever wants to work in the office. We don't give them the opportunity to do the hands-on and bend down and do all these things. These are things that should not even be a problem for us at all. Rather, every polytechnics want to become a university. Every college of education wants to become a university. So we are taking ourselves away from the practical aspect of all these things. Why should power grid break down? In fact, that's the question I've been trying to run my head around that. What exactly is the problem? Is it that we don't have enough engineers, or the engineers are being sabotaged, or they are not given enough resources, or they are given the resources, they are not using it for what they are supposed to use it for, or what?
Right. Biko, just that reminds me of a man who has been in the, I guess, US, he's been in the Western countries for many years. He came to Nigeria, he went into the bathroom at night, and he was having his bath. In the middle of the shampoo, the power officials, they took off the light, and by the time he opened his eyes, he started crying that he has lost his sight, he can't see again. 6 times in, this is the 5th time in 6 months.
That's a story that someone told you. And you chose to tell it on national TV. Well done.
So, fifth national power grid in 6 months. Where are we and where are we going?
Oh, you see, there are some problems that if we do not address them, and if they continue to get worse, the great collapses will get worse.
We'll continue.
We have largely thermal stations, gas-fired power plants. We have 3 hydro plants, all contributing to the national grid. Now, if the water level is low, of course, our hydro plants are in northern Nigeria. This is not the peak of the rainy season. This is not the peak yet. Not even the peak where we are now yet. So, of course, the water level will have gone down. Now, if the water level goes down, the dam will not be able to perform the dam will not be able to perform this duty of generating power at optimum capacity. That is one problem. So then you have the gas gas-powered stations,
Yeah.
they have more than, say, 97% of our power source, the gas-fired stations. The biggest problem they face is gas constraints. And what causes gas constraints? Sometimes it's vandalism.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just even the fact that the power plants are owing gas suppliers. Sometimes they will not supply them gas. Now, if you have 17 gas-fired stations, gas-powered plants, if for any reason half of these are idle because of lack of supply of gas, you are going to have great collapse. Because there is a level below which you can't go.
Yeah.
If you go below that level in terms of generation,
Yeah.
it will trigger system collapse. This is what we've been having. You could achieve like 3,000 megawatts. If that problem, if they develop that problem suddenly, it can go from 3,000 megawatts to like 30 megawatts, 10 megawatts. That's what we've seen. In April, 2 straight days in April, we had system collapse. And that was what happened. On one of those days, it was 10 megawatts.
Yeah.
On another day, it was 30.
Yeah.
So gas constraints, we've not been able to solve the problem of constant gas supply to this power plant.
Yeah.
And these power plants are located far away from the source of gas.
Yeah.
So all these vendors will sometimes break those pipelines in the hope that it is petrol that they will see. But once you break the gas pipeline, you cannot pipe it. We've wasted it.
Absolutely.
So this is what we are facing. We've got to deal with the problem of gas constraint.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we can solve that, a lot of these problems will simply disappear. But to deal with that, the vendors, we need to deal with them.
Because we have just about less than 2 minutes to go, what would you recommend, apart from some of the recommendations you said earlier? We've got the solar, we've got the wind, we've got different resources where we can generate power from.
Yes,
the
whole world is moving now to what is called off-grid electricity access or power access.
Yeah.
The off-grid solutions are what you talked about, solar, wind, and the rest of them. So we need to coal. South Africa generates more than 40,000 megawatts each day, and they rely on coal.
Even biogas.
We are here as a country, so-called giant of Africa. We are boasting that we did 3,000 megawatts, and we call ourselves the giant of Africa. And a country like South Africa will be doing 42,000.
Yeah.
Egypt today has more than enough, to the point that Egypt is even exporting to Europe.
Yeah.
Egypt is exporting electricity to Cyprus and Greece. So, but look at us, look at where we are. They have more than enough. It is when you have more than enough that you can export.
Absolutely.
They have more than enough. Here, we don't have enough. I've not had light for like 3 days.
Yeah.
No supply. No, I'm just
All right.
just using generator.
All right, quite sad. Olayinka, your final thoughts?
Now,
less than a
I
minute.
think we have to make more use of our scientists and give them that challenge.
Yeah.
That, look, this is what we want. What do you need? Give it to them and let's see whether they will fail us, and then we can begin to talk. Or else.
And we need to unbundle even the power sector.
Exactly.
Let each state provide electricity for its people.
Right.
Do it at their own pace.
At their own pace.
All right. Thank you very kindly, gentlemen. Babajide Kolade Otoju and Olayinka Oyegbile. Thank you, gentlemen, for your keenness of insight on Journalist Hangouts today. Well, that's it on Journalist Hangouts. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Bye for now and God bless Nigeria.